Have you ever felt like he holds all the power, like he's always one step ahead, pulling the strings, leaving you wondering where you stand? Maybe he acts like he's in control of your story, making you feel like you're playing a part in a script he wrote. It's a frustrating feeling, isn't it? Like you're standing in the shadow of his choices, his actions, his authority. But let me tell you something. Control is an illusion when it's built on the foundation of someone else's silence. And today, you're about to take that illusion and shatter it. You're not powerless. You've never been powerless. He may think he's in control, but the truth is, the power has always been in your hands. It's time to remind him, remind yourself, who truly holds the pen in this story. Because when you step into your strength, when you stop playing by his rules, everything changes. Suddenly, he's no longer the one calling the shots. You are. And trust me, queens, when you take control of your own narrative, no one, not even him, will be able to take it from you. Think of a chessboard. He might see himself as the king, the one making all the moves, holding the most power. But what he's forgotten is that the queen is the most powerful piece on the board. She moves freely, boldly, with purpose, while the king hides behind walls, relying on others to protect him. That's you. You're the queen. But you've been holding back, playing small, letting him believe he's the one in charge. Enough is enough. It's time to show him the truth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where it starts. Not with revenge, not with anger, but with the quiet, unshakable decision to take back your power. Control doesn't come from chasing him, explaining yourself, or proving your worth. It comes from knowing your worth so deeply that no one else's opinion, no one else's actions can shake it. Picture this. He's like a storm, unpredictable and overwhelming, trying to stir chaos in your life. But you're the mountain, strong, immovable. No matter how hard the wind blows, no matter how loud the thunder roars, the mountain doesn't crumble. It doesn't chase the storm or beg it to stop. It stands firm, unyielding, knowing that the storm will pass, but the mountain will remain. That's the kind of strength you're stepping into. That's the kind of control he won't be able to ignore. Relationships are supposed to be about balance, about mutual respect, about two people walking side by side, lifting each other up. But if he's trying to hold all the cards, if he's acting like you're just a supporting role in his story, then it's time to change the dynamic. He needs to see that your love is a privilege, not a guarantee. That your presence isn't something he can take for granted, because when you stop giving away your power, when you stop playing into his game, he'll realize what he's truly up against, a force he can't control. But here's the thing. Stepping into your power doesn't mean playing games or trying to manipulate him. It means reclaiming your energy, your focus, your strength. It means living in a way that's so confident, so grounded, that his actions lose their grip on you. Think of the sun. It doesn't beg anyone to notice its light. It simply shines, illuminating everything around it. That's you. The moment you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop bending yourself to fit his expectations, you'll find that the real power was within you all along. Now, let's talk about what it means to live as a queen. A queen doesn't fight for scraps of attention. She doesn't waste her energy trying to convince someone to see her worth. She doesn't let anyone dictate her story. A queen knows her value. She stands tall, speaks with purpose, and moves with a grace that demands respect. And when you step into that energy, when you embrace the truth of who you are, everything shifts. The balance of power shifts. He'll see it, he'll feel it, and whether he admits it or not, he'll regret ever thinking he was in control. Your worth isn't tied to his actions. It's not determined by his choices. Your worth is unshakable, untouchable, yours to claim. So, stop waiting for him to give you permission to shine. Stop letting his perception of control hold you back. You're not just a player in his game, you're the queen of your own kingdom. And when you step into that role, when you start living as the powerful, radiant force you were always meant to be, his control will crumble like sand slipping through his fingers. Look in the mirror. Do you see her? The woman who has survived every heartbreak, every moment of doubt, every time he tried to make you feel small. She's still here. She's still standing. And now, she's ready to rise. This is your moment to take back everything and more, to show him and yourself that no one holds the power over your life but you. So, stand tall, speak boldly, move with purpose. The world is watching, and so is he. And when he sees the queen you've become, he won't just regret thinking he was in control. He'll realize he never had it to begin with. If this message lit a fire in your heart, if it gave you even a moment of clarity, strength, or hope, don't keep it to yourself. We pour everything into creating content like this, not just to inspire you, but to remind you of the power that's always been within you. You deserve to rise, to thrive, and to claim the life you've always dreamed of. So, if this resonated with you, if it gave you the push you needed to take back control, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to us, and it's what allows us to continue creating these life-changing lessons for you. If this message lit a fire in your heart, if it gave you even a moment of clarity, strength, or hope, don't keep it to yourself. We pour everything into creating content like this, not just to inspire you, but to remind you of the power that's always been within you. You deserve to rise, to thrive, and to claim the life you've always dreamed of. So, if this resonated with you, if it gave you the push you needed to take back control, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to us, and it's what allows us to continue creating these life-changing lessons for you. Number 1. Take the crown. Without a word. Have you ever looked at him and wondered why he acts like he holds all the cards? Why he walks as if he's in charge of the story, as if your power is something he can control or dismiss? Maybe he assumes that by keeping you second-guessing, he's won. But here's the truth he doesn't want to face. The power he thinks he has over you isn't real. And today, it's time to take the crown he never even truly held, without saying a single word. You don't need to argue. You don't need to fight. True power isn't loud. It doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, and it doesn't explain itself. The strongest kind of power is quiet, steady, and rooted deep within. That's the kind of power he can't touch. That's the kind of power you're about to reclaim. When you stop reacting to his attempts to control you and start moving with purpose, grace, and intention, the dynamic shifts completely. You're not playing his game anymore. You're rewriting the rules. Think of a crown, a symbol of authority, dignity, and strength. When he thought he was in control, he acted like he was wearing it. But a crown isn't given to just anyone. It belongs to the one who stands tall, unshaken, and true to themselves. That's you. You've been holding back, waiting for him to see your worth, waiting for him to treat you like the queen you are. But enough waiting. It's time to rise and seize what's always been yours. There's a quote by Epictetus that says, "No one can take from you what you do not give away." And isn't that the truth? He only thinks he's in control because you allowed it. But the moment you stop handing over your energy, your attention, your emotions, everything changes. Suddenly, the power is back where it belongs, with you. And the best part? You don't need to lift a finger to prove it. The silence of your strength will speak louder than anything you could ever say. Picture yourself as a lighthouse, standing tall and unwavering, shining your light no matter how wild the storm gets. He's like a ship caught in the chaos, thinking he can steer the way. But you're the constant. You don't chase the storm, you stand above it, guiding your own path. And when he sees that his attempts to control you don't shake your foundation, he'll realize just how strong you are and how powerless his control really is. Relationships should be about balance, respect, and mutual effort. But if he's playing games, making you feel small, or acting like he holds all the keys, then it's time to step back and reclaim your space. Stop explaining yourself to him. Stop reacting to his attempts to hold you down. Instead, focus on your own growth. Build a life so full, so vibrant, that his control feels irrelevant. When you live as your higher self, he'll feel the shift without you saying a word. And trust me, queens, that silence will speak volumes. Let's talk about what it means to live as a queen. A queen doesn't need to demand respect. She commands it by the way she carries herself. She doesn't seek validation from anyone because she already knows her worth. That's the energy you're stepping into. You're no longer chasing his approval or waiting for him to recognize your power. You're owning it, unapologetically. And when you do, he'll see the difference. He'll feel the distance growing between the version of you who once gave him control and the woman who's now standing tall, unstoppable. He may have doubted you, underestimated you, or thought you'd always be there, waiting for him to figure it out. But not anymore. Your power doesn't come from what he sees. It comes from what you know. And when you embrace that truth, when you start moving like the queen you are, he won't just notice. He'll regret thinking he ever had control. This is your moment to reclaim everything, to take back the energy, the love, the attention you gave so freely, and redirect it where it belongs, toward yourself. The time for waiting is over. The time for explaining is over. This is your time to rise. So, queens, look in the mirror right now and remind yourself of this. I don't need words to prove my power. I wear the crown, and the world will see it. Write this affirmation in the comments. Claim it. Own it. And if this message spoke to your heart, if it lit even the smallest spark of strength inside you, then, like this video, subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. We're working hard to bring you lessons that remind you of your power, your worth, and your unshakable strength. Let's rise together, queens. You've got this. Number 2, become the mirror that reflects his choices. Have you ever wondered what would happen if, instead of chasing answers or trying to prove your worth, you simply let him see himself in the reflection of your silence? Imagine this. Every action he takes, every word he speaks, and every choice he makes becomes a mirror. Not the kind that flatters, but the kind that forces him to see the truth about what he's done and who you've become. That mirror doesn't break. It doesn't argue. It simply reflects. And in that reflection, he's left to confront the reality he tried to control. You don't need to shout or explain. You don't need to prove anything. True power isn't loud. It's steady. It's the quiet strength of knowing you're not here to beg for love or validation. When he thinks he's steering the ship, thinking he has the upper hand, let your calm presence be the mirror that shows him his choices. Let your self-respect make him pause. Because a person who tries to control doesn't expect resistance, they expect submission. But what if, instead of resisting, you simply stepped back and let him see the emptiness of his control without your energy to feed it? Think of a candle in a dark room. It burns brightly, filling the space with warmth and light. But when the candle is extinguished, the cold and darkness rush in. That's what happens when you take back your energy. He'll realize that the power he thought he held wasn't his at all. It was yours, given freely. And when you stop giving it, he'll feel the absence like a weight he can't shake. Let him feel the chill of what's missing. Let your silence do what words never could. As Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." You may not be able to control what he does, but you can control how you react. And when you decide to stop reacting, stop engaging, and stop chasing, you flip the entire dynamic. Suddenly, the control he thought he had disappears. Why? Because his power depended on your response. Without it, he's left to wrestle with himself, with no one else to blame or manipulate. Relationships are about balance, about two people seeing each other's worth and meeting in the middle. If he thinks he's above that balance, if he tries to hold the reins while leaving you behind, then he needs to see the truth. And that truth isn't in arguments or explanations. It's in your transformation. Every time he expects you to react, choose stillness instead. Every time he pushes, stand firm. The strongest structures don't bend to the wind. They remain unshaken, forcing the storm to pass around them. That's your strength. Imagine this. He's building a story where he's the hero, the one in control, the one who calls the shots. But what he doesn't realize is that you've already started writing a new chapter, one where his role is no longer the center of the plot. You don't need to erase what's been written, but you do need to make sure the next page reflects your worth. And when he reads it, when he sees that you're not following his lead anymore, that's when the regret will begin to sink in. Let's be clear, this isn't about revenge or playing games. This is about stepping into your power, about becoming so strong, so confident that his actions no longer dictate your emotions. It's about showing him that your worth doesn't come from his validation. You don't need him to see your light. You need to see it for yourself. And once you do, once you fully embrace it, no one can take it away, not even him. Now, it's time to talk about living as a queen. A queen doesn't argue with people who try to diminish her. She doesn't lower herself to explain her value to those who can't see it. She stands tall, moves with purpose, and lets her actions speak louder than any words. And that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to embody the kind of strength that doesn't just demand respect, it commands it. When you live as a queen, his control becomes irrelevant. He'll realize that the only power he had was the power you allowed him to borrow. So, queens, look in the mirror. What do you see? A woman who has survived heartbreak, doubt, and manipulation. A woman who is still standing, stronger than ever. You're not his reflection. You're your own. You're not here to be molded by his expectations. You're here to shine in a way that makes his control look small and insignificant. Every choice he's made will come back to him in the mirror you hold up, and he'll realize that while he was playing games, you are mastering the art of your own life. This is your moment to rise, to become the mirror that reflects his choices while you move forward, unstoppable and unbothered. Let him see the gaps he tried to fill with control, and let him watch as you fill them with your own power instead. You don't need to prove anything. You already are everything. Say this affirmation with me. I am the mirror that reflects truth, and I hold the power. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments to seal your strength. If this message lit a spark in you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our growing community. Number 3. Let your presence be the unstoppable storm. Have you ever felt like he moves through your life like a storm, controlling the winds, dictating the pace, making you feel like you're caught in the chaos? Maybe he's made you believe that his presence is the force you can't escape, that he's the one holding all the power. But what he doesn't realize is this: you are the real storm. And when you decide to rise, your presence won't just command attention, it will leave him breathless, unsure of how to handle the force you've become. You're not a bystander in this story. You've always been the mountain standing strong against the storm. And now it's time to show him what it means to truly hold power. Let him feel the depth of your energy, the strength of your presence, and the calm, quiet storm that builds inside you. Control isn't about being loud or forceful. It's about being unshakable. When you stop reacting to his moves and start owning your space, he'll realize he never had control to begin with. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where it all starts. When he acts like he's in charge, your power lies in your ability to stay centered, calm, and completely in control of yourself. You don't have to chase him, argue with him, or prove anything to him. Instead, you stand firm, like the eye of the storm, quiet but unstoppable. Imagine yourself as a thunderstorm rolling over the horizon, the kind of storm that demands attention without a single word. He's standing there, thinking he's steady and prepared. But when your energy shifts, when you step into your strength, he'll feel the ground beneath him shake. Your presence isn't just powerful, it's undeniable. He might have tried to hold the reins, but now he'll see that you've been the force steering the entire time. Relationships are about balance, about mutual respect and effort. But if he's the one trying to take the lead, to make you feel small, to control the way the story unfolds, then it's time to show him that the power doesn't belong to him. It belongs to you. He needs to see that your value doesn't depend on his choices or his approval. Your value is unshakable, and when you embrace it, you'll become the storm that redefines the entire landscape. Think of a wildfire, intense, all-consuming, unstoppable. That's your presence when you decide to reclaim your power. But here's the secret. You don't burn with anger or desperation. You burn with confidence, with self-worth, with a quiet radiance that he can't control. Let him feel that energy. Let him see the fire in your eyes and the grace in your steps. He'll realize he's standing in the presence of something far beyond his control. When he tries to make you feel like you're just a part of his world, remind him who you are. You are not a convenience. You are not an afterthought. You are not someone who fades into the background. You are the storm that turns everything upside down and leaves no room for doubt about your worth. The moment you stop letting him define your story, you take back the pen and the narrative becomes yours to write. Living as a queen doesn't mean forcing anyone to see your worth. It means standing so firmly in your truth that no one can deny it. You don't beg for attention. You don't fight for control. You move with purpose, grace, and power. A queen doesn't chase. She reigns. And when you start living in that energy, when you embrace the truth of who you are, everything changes. He'll feel the shift in your presence, the weight of what he underestimated, and the regret of ever thinking he was in control. So, queens, it's time to rise. Look in the mirror and see the unstoppable warrior staring back at you. Feel the fire within you. Let it remind you that no one defines your power but you. You're not a victim of his actions. You're the architect of your own victory. Your scars aren't marks of defeat. They're proof of your strength. And now, it's time to show him that while he was busy trying to control you, you've been quietly building a storm he'll never forget. Say this affirmation with me. I am the storm he can't control. Write it in the comments, queens. Claim it as your truth and let it echo in your heart. If this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of the unstoppable power within you, then take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to create lessons that inspire, empower, and remind you of the queen you truly are. Let's rise together. This is your time, your story, your reign. Number 4. Rewrite the script without him knowing. Have you ever felt like he's the one writing your story, deciding the narrative while you're left trying to keep up? Like he's set the rules, calling the shots, leaving you questioning how you ever got here? It's a frustrating place to be, isn't it? But here's the truth that changes everything. He doesn't hold the pen. You do. You've always held it. And now it's time to stop playing the role he wrote for you and start rewriting the script without him even realizing it. This is your story, your life, and you get to decide how it unfolds. Think of a stage. For too long, he's acted like the director, deciding where the spotlight lands and how the scenes play out. But here's the twist. What he doesn't realize is that the stage is yours. The moment you decide to step out of his shadow, to stop playing by his rules, the entire production shifts. He's no longer the center of your focus. You are. And when that happens, everything he thought he controlled begins to slip through his fingers. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's where your power lies, not in trying to change him, not in begging him to see your worth, but in changing the way you see yourself. You are not a supporting character in his story. You're the lead in your own. And when you own that role, when you step into your full power, he'll feel the difference, whether he admits it or not. Imagine this. You're like a book with endless blank pages, but for too long, you've let him scribble over your chapters. His assumptions, his control, his decisions, they've shaped the story in ways that don't serve you. But what he doesn't know is that you've just turned to a fresh page. Now, you're writing in bold, unshakable strokes. You're not erasing the past. You're creating a future so powerful, so magnetic, that his role in your story becomes nothing more than a footnote. Relationships are about balance, about two people building something beautiful together. But when one person tries to control the narrative, it's time to step back and reclaim your power. He might think he's in charge, but true control comes from within. It's not about shouting louder or fighting harder. It's about living in a way that makes his grasp on control irrelevant. When you focus on yourself, on your growth, on building the life you deserve, his influence over you fades into the background. Think of a river. No matter how many rocks are thrown into it, the river keeps flowing, carving its path through valleys, shaping the landscape on its own terms. That's you. He might throw obstacles in your way, thinking they'll stop you, but all they do is make you stronger, more determined, more unstoppable. You don't need to announce your strength or prove your worth. Your actions, your energy, your transformation will do that for you. And when he finally looks up, he'll see a force of nature he can't control, a current too powerful to resist. Now, let's talk about living as a queen. A queen doesn't ask for permission to rule her own life. She doesn't wait for someone to hand her power. She claims it, effortlessly, with grace and confidence. That's what you're stepping into. You don't need his approval, his validation, or his control to feel whole. You're already complete, already powerful, already capable of writing the most incredible story of your life. When you start living as the queen you are, he'll see the shift. He'll feel the loss of the power he thought he had. And by then, it won't matter, because you'll have outgrown the version of yourself that ever let him hold the pen. Look in the mirror. Do you see her? The woman who has been through heartbreak, doubt, and pain, but is still standing. That's your greatest ally. She's not broken, she's rising. This is your moment to rewrite the story, not to prove anything to him, but to show yourself what you're truly capable of. Take back the pen. Take back the narrative. This is your time to create a life so bold, so radiant, that his control becomes a faint memory in the background of your masterpiece. Repeat this affirmation, queens. I hold the pen. I write the story. I am unstoppable. Write it in the comments below and claim it as your truth. Your power is yours to own, and the life you're building is yours to shape. If this message lit a spark in your heart, if it reminded you of the power you've always had, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to create life-changing lessons for you, to remind you of your strength, and to build a community where queens rise together. Number 5. Be the flame that draws him in, not the one that burns out. Have you ever noticed how a flame captivates everything around it without ever trying? It draws people in with its warmth, its light, and its quiet strength. But the flame doesn't chase, it doesn't plead, it just burns. Now imagine being that flame. Imagine the kind of power you hold when you stop chasing his approval and start radiating your own strength, your own beauty, your own worth. He might think he's in control, but the moment you reclaim your fire, the game changes. The truth is, he's not drawn to weakness, to someone bending and breaking just to keep him happy. He's drawn to confidence, to resilience, to the kind of energy that doesn't rely on him to shine. As Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Your heartbreak, your doubt, that's your fire. But don't let it burn you out. Let it fuel you. Let it ignite the parts of you that you've been holding back. Because when you stand tall and let your flame shine, you won't just draw him in. You'll show him that you don't need him to thrive. Think of a lighthouse. It stands steady, no matter how wild the storm becomes. Its light doesn't chase the waves or beg the ships to notice it. It simply shines, guiding everything around it with quiet power. That's the energy you need to embody. Stop bending yourself to fit his version of control. Be the light that stands firm, that commands attention effortlessly. When you own your strength, he'll feel the pull of your fire in a way he never expected. Relationships aren't about control. They're about balance, respect, and shared energy. If he can't see that, then you need to remind him of who you are. You are not an afterthought or a backup plan. You are the prize, the one who doesn't need to chase or beg. The moment you stop trying to prove your worth to him, he'll see it clearer than ever before. And if he doesn't, then he was never ready for the brilliance of your flame. So, queens, it's time to stop waiting, stop doubting, and start living as the radiant force you are. Look in the mirror and see her, the woman who's been through storms but never let her fire die out. Say this with me: I am the fire he can't control. Write it in the comments, claim it as your truth, and let the world see your power. If this spoke to your heart, Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here, working tirelessly to remind you of your worth and to create lessons that ignite your strength. You've got this. Now, rise and shine brighter than ever. Number 6. Turn the power play into your playground. Have you ever felt like he's always one step ahead, pulling the strings while you're left wondering where you stand? It feels like a game you didn't agree to play, doesn't it? But here's the secret that changes everything. When he thinks he's in control, you don't have to fight for power. You simply shift the game. This isn't about playing by his rules. It's about owning the entire board, turning his so-called power into your playground. Control isn't about dominance or manipulation. It's about confidence, grace, and the ability to stay calm while he's spinning in circles trying to figure you out. He might think he's steering the ship, but what he doesn't see is that you're already charting the course. Like a chess game, he's moving pieces, but you're 10 moves ahead, thinking strategically while he's reacting emotionally. That's your power, not reacting, not chasing, but mastering your own energy. Think of a river flowing calmly through mountains. It doesn't fight the rocks or the obstacles in its path. It glides around them, carving its own way, reshaping everything in its wake. That's how you turn his power plays into your advantage. While he's trying to control the situation, you remain steady, unshaken, letting his attempts at control crumble under the weight of your quiet strength. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every move he makes to control you is just another step toward his own undoing. You're not here to match his energy. You're here to master your own. When you do that, queens, he'll realize his control was never real. It was only borrowed from the moments you doubted yourself. This is where your transformation begins. You're not playing his game anymore. You're creating your own rules, building your life with confidence and purpose, leaving no room for his empty control. When you live as a queen, every move you make speaks volumes, and his power fades into nothingness. Look in the mirror and say this affirmation: "I don't play by his rules. I own the board." Write this in the comments, queens, and claim it as your truth. If this message hit home and reminded you of your unstoppable strength, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join this community of powerful, radiant women. Let's rise together. You've got this. Number 7. Let your silence be the loudest answer. Have you ever noticed how silence can cut deeper than the sharpest words? It's not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of power. When he thinks he's in control, expecting you to react, to explain, to prove your worth, there's nothing more disarming than choosing silence. It's the kind of silence that speaks volumes, the kind that forces him to sit with his own actions, his own choices. This isn't about playing games. It's about stepping into a level of strength he can't ignore. Think about it. Silence is like a perfectly still lake. On the surface, it seems calm, but beneath it, there's depth and clarity. When you stop reacting, when you refuse to engage in his attempts to hold control, you take the energy away from his grip. Instead, you redirect it inward, into yourself. That kind of silence shakes him because it forces him to see that his control over you was only ever an illusion. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters." And sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Imagine him trying to stir chaos like a gust of wind against a mountain. But the mountain doesn't budge. The wind tires itself out, while the mountain remains unshaken, unmovable. That's what your silence does. It makes him realize he can't control what he doesn't understand, and he will never fully grasp the strength of a woman who chooses herself. Relationships are not about who holds more power. They're about balance and mutual respect. But if he's trying to dominate, to make you feel small, your silence can be the shift that breaks the pattern. When you stop engaging in his games, you create space for your energy to flourish. This is where you stop being a reaction to his moves and start living as the queen you were always meant to be. A queen doesn't raise her voice to be heard. Her presence alone commands attention. Look in the mirror, queens. You're not shattered. You're a force of nature. This is your moment to reclaim your power, to show him that his control was never real. Let your silence speak for you, louder than words ever could. Let him feel the absence of your reactions, the void where his grip used to be. And when he realizes he no longer has the control he thought he did, you'll already be too far ahead, thriving in a life he can't touch. Say this with me, and write it in the comments below. My silence is my power, and my strength speaks for itself. Queens, if this message lit a fire within you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here, working tirelessly to create lessons that help you rise, thrive, and embrace the queen within. Your story is just beginning. Own it and show the world who's really in control. Number 8. Become the North Star he can't ignore. Have you ever wondered why he acts like he holds all the power, as if the course of your relationship is entirely his to steer? Maybe he believes you'll follow his lead, orbiting his decisions, waiting for him to take notice. But let me tell you something he's forgotten. Even the stars in the sky don't compare to your radiance when you choose to rise. He may think he's in control, but you're about to show him the truth. You're not a follower. You're the North Star, the one that guides, captivates, and commands attention without moving an inch. Being the North Star means standing firm, shining brightly, and refusing to let anyone dictate your path. It's about becoming the constant force in his life, the light he can't ignore no matter how far he tries to wander. He may think he's in charge now, but when you stand tall in your power, he'll realize that his control is an illusion. The power has always been yours. Marcus Aurelius said it best. Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. Stop explaining your worth. Stop chasing his validation. Simply be the version of yourself that cannot be overlooked. Imagine the North Star in the night sky. While all other stars seem to shift and change, it remains steady, lighting the way for those who look up. That's your role, not as someone waiting to be chosen, but as the guide he realizes he cannot live without. When you focus on yourself, your growth, your happiness, your purpose, you create a gravitational pull that's impossible to resist. You're not chasing, you're leading. And the truth is, he'll never forget the strength of a woman who knows her worth. Relationships thrive on balance and mutual respect, not control. If he thought he could hold the reins, it's time to let your presence speak louder than his actions. Step into your light and let your power guide your life. When you embrace who you truly are, he'll be the one left staring, wondering how he ever thought he could contain you. Queens don't follow, they reign. And the moment you realize that, his sense of control will fade into insignificance. Look in the mirror. See her? The woman who has faced pain and risen above it? That's your North Star. Stand firm, shine bright, lead the way. Your affirmation is this: I am the light he can't ignore. Queens, write this in the comments. Claim it, own it, and if this message lit a spark within you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to help you rise, thrive, and reclaim the life you deserve. This is your moment. Take it.